Welcome to episode number 29. I am your host, Sebastian ENGSTROM, and today Felix Rehder joins me. He is the best CrossFit athlete in all of Germany. We go into his story, how he came from gymnastics, then rowing, what went into that training, how he trained to become the athlete that he is today, how he was mentored by two of the most prominent figures in CrossFit in Germany, his journey there, as well as his diet, his sleep, how he goes about just being an optimized human being while he's also studying medicine. It's a very unique conversation. We even go into eating disorders. So not always the shiny, bright topics, and this is why we do the podcast. So please enjoy the talk with Felix. If you haven't done so, check out the strength programs that we have, gymnastics, calisthenics focused primarily. We also have one where we have mixed modalities, so it is with calisthenics, strength, and Olympic weightlifting. You can check this out at modernathlete.com, so modern spelled with an E at the end. And these are not your regular training programs. These are video instructions, detailed instructions of how you do the movements. I do them myself. I haven't been able to find this online, hence why I created this. I will be there coaching you throughout the entire process. You can find a 7-day trial at modernathlete.com. And if you haven't done so far, if this show is bringing you value, please scroll down 5 seconds. That's how long it takes. Hit 5 stars on Apple. If you're listening on another platform, hit subscribe, hit like. If you can be so kind, please leave a review. This helps us spread the message to more people, which is why we're doing this podcast, to be of service to the community. And this helps the show stay alive. So thank you for doing the good deed of the day. Enjoy the show. Felix Rehder, welcome to the podcast. Amazing to have you here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Sebastian.
Yeah, it's when you say that, it always rings a bell. And I didn't tell you this, I'm half German. So meine Großmutter kommt aus Deutschland und so meine Mutter auch. So that is me speaking German to Felix. But we're not going to do this podcast in German. But Felix is the highest ranked CrossFitter in Germany. He has multiple recent titles, and we'll see if there will be a few more here. There's one competition in Norrköping here in Sweden that we'll probably meet, and I will see him compete and go for the title. How would you? But there's more to you, Felix. Like who? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Felix Rehder. 25 years old right now. Studying medicine in Germany, and yeah, just doing CrossFit for fun and for competition probably, because it's you meet so many amazing people, and it's a fun sport. So I got into it, and now I'm here.
Yeah, is it kind of, I mean, there's some okay money. I mean, if you win the competitions, is that kind of like how you, as you're studying, that's a nice little income too, as you win these competitions?
It is, but you got a bit of money, I think. Probably the big competitions you can earn a lot, but that's another level of athletes, to be honest.
Sure.
So it's a nice income, for studying. So I work as a coach as well in our home box here in Germany. So I earned some money over there, and I didn't know that when I started, but a good friend of mine who helped me with my weightlifting, he has been on the national squad in weightlifting. And there's a league in Germany. It's the national league in weightlifting, and it's quite big here where I live. So we got a few clubs who compete against each other. So it's like in the German football league or soccer league.
Oh yeah.
So there's a weightlifting league as well.
Really?
And it's quite easy to earn some money over there. So I think I made more money doing weightlifting than I did doing CrossFit. So,
no way.
And I'm not a good weightlifter for CrossFitter, so but they are looking for people, because weightlifting is like decreasing in members, so they are looking for some decent numbers. And so
wow.
I'm starting for the athletic club Weinheim. It's over here. So
So when are you usually in the top ranking people, like at these weightlifting competitions?
It changes, depends on the competition. So on these competitions, you are allowed, or every club is allowed to invite two lifters from abroad. So they buy often Bulgarians because they are cheap to pay. Can you say so? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, sure.
And they make a lot of points. So if there are any foreigners, there's no chance to earn a title. And the good times of weightlifting in Germany are over, I think. So the level of lifts decreases. So as the time goes on, I get better, and most of the people get worse. So I never be on the top because my personal records are 120 kilos. I don't know what it is in pounds, and 150 in the clean and jerk. So it's like decent numbers, but for a weightlifter, these are small numbers. And I'm weighing like 88 kilos. So it's really it's measured relative to your body weight. So
yeah, so for the American counterparts or Canadian who are listening, or British, so 120 kilos is roughly 275 to 80, somewhere around there, pounds. And then you said for your clean and jerk is how much?
150.
Okay. So like, that would be 330, 40?
35? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably around there.
Yeah, 50. Yeah. So those are damn good numbers still for your weight. I mean, it's a crazy part. I talked to or actually it's well known across the board that in CrossFit the weightlifting level just of athletes is phenomenal. And it's crazy because there are so many people even competing at a national level or even Olympic level. Like it's insane. Like but there is not but the interesting part, Coach Summer brought this up, a very renowned gymnastics coach, that you don't have the same level of gymnastic skills. Like there's not a single CrossFitter who would be able to compete at anything gymnastics, which is interesting, right?
Yeah, it's not only the gymnastics part, it's the endurance part as well, because what I experienced this year, especially this year, with the quarterfinals and semifinals in the CrossFit Open pathway, you are compared to people all over the world for the first stage, and then it get narrowed for the quad and semifinals to Europe. So every score I submit is compared to every other athlete in the world or to every other athlete in Europe. And there was a test which was in the quarterfinals, which was a 4-rep max front squat. So it's basically just strength. 4-rep max front squat, there's nothing to do wrong. And it has been by far my worst event. So if I did okay in my usual fitness tests, I would have became like 100th in Europe.
Yeah.
But I PR'd my 4-rep max front squat in the test and came like 450th, I think. Wow. So there are quite a lot really strong people who are not that fit though. So the strength numbers have gone up. Like 4 years ago, if you snatched 100 kilo, you could be top 5 in a competition. And right now, 100 kilo is like nothing for elite competitors.
It's nuts. Yes. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. I still remember, I mean, even early days CrossFit, people could barely get the bar over their head, and it looked awful. And now, I mean, it's nuts. It's so crazy. But do you have a gymnastics background?
Yeah, probably. You could say so.
There's something called Madness Brothers. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. You did some good research.
Yeah.
So it's a long story. I try to sum it up a little bit. So my sister, I got a little sister. So she's 1 year younger than I am. So we're really close together, and we got a gymnastics club for girls only in our hometown. So she's been into gymnastics, and before the winter holidays, they got a day or a training where they can bring people and they do fun stuff like trampoline, and air tracking, etc. And I was always interested in gymnastics. I had fun doing things like that. And she's been my younger sister. So as a big brother, or as a competitive big brother, you want to do what your little sister can. So I always tried to do things she did. So I've been there, and the coaches told my parents, oh yeah, he should get into gymnastics somehow. So yeah, I think from the age of 12 to 13, I started doing gymnastics in the town next to our town in Plön. And did it like 3 years. It's been nothing crazy high, but I think this has been my start to my athletic career. It's been tough training. It's been, I think, 2 times or 3 times a week, so not that much. And for gymnastics, it's nothing. Sure. But I think I built a pretty solid base. So gymnastics is all about core and like flexion and extension and the right timing. And we had a rough trainer. He's been like a diver for the army. So he's a good commander. And we had a strict rulement. So it shaped me, I think, or formed me. Like, this were the stone for my discipline, I think. But it's been nothing special. So I didn't compete in nationals or something like that. So I'm like really tall for a gymnast, but local comps I competed.
Okay. What were you focusing on in gymnastics?
Because we had no chance to compete in the big things, we did like, there's a Jahnkampf. It's like, how's it called? You do 6 disciplines. But there are in gymnastics, you compete in floor. Is it called floor?
I'm not sure. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the floor and on the parallel bars.
Yep.
Then you compete in swimming on 100-meter swim for time and diving, like backflips, front flips.
That's part of gymnastics.
Yeah, it's a mixture of competitions. So it's like a real slim niche of sports.
Yeah,
it's called Jahnkampf in Germany. I don't know. It's from and we do some of athletics, track and field athletics. We did the 100-meter dash, and how's it called? You got the 7.5 kilo stone that you have to throw.
Shot put.
Yeah. Okay. So these were the 6 disciplines we competed in. And for the local competitions, we did like everything, like floor, rings, parallel bars. I don't know, jumping. It's not called jumping. Vault. I think it's called vault in gymnastics. I won the rings competition once in my on the local comps, but it's been nothing special. So I've been young, I've been way too big for gymnastics, but it's been a nice foundation laid out.
Yeah, it's another one in the books for, I teach gymnastics and I teach Olympic weightlifting at the CrossFit gyms, and I always tell them, hey, the best CrossFitters are not people who do endurance or CrossFit WODs or crazy metcons all the time. The best ones are gymnasts or Olympic weightlifters. So you better get the damn things right and do it properly, and you'll become a better CrossFitter. And you're another one that's just that's your foundation. You know how to move properly. I mean, that's even to say, it's like with gymnasts going to become weightlifters, they usually make great weightlifters because they have such a great body awareness and they know how to move just incredibly well. So I guess how did that turn into you discovering CrossFit?
Oh, this has been another story. So I left gymnastics like when I was about 16, because our school competed in school competitions and we had a rowing team. So I'm from the north of Germany. I'm from Kiel. And we got a lot of lakes and the ocean next to our home. So rowing is quite popular. And in Germany, there's a school competition which is called Jugend trainiert für Olympia, youth training for Olympia. and they try to support school sports to get competitive, and they needed someone for their rowing 8. So yeah, my teacher in PE just asked me if I could participate, and I said, yeah, why not? I like the idea. So I've been to the finals in Jugend trainiert for Olympia 2 times with the school squad. So this has been great. And I switched from competitive gymnastics to competitive rowing. And this was like the first time where I trained 7 days a week for at least 2 hours a day. Rowing is a little different to CrossFit because you got less strength, but it's a lot of endurance. So you spend a lot of hours spending on rowing ergs or on the rower itself. So this is where I changed to rowing. And then I finished school in 2015.
Before going too far, with you rowing, what do workouts look like?
It depends on the season. So there I just experienced periodic training. Is it? I don't know if it's called like this.
Yeah, please probably get into it.
Yeah. So my highlight of the career has always been the German nationals, which were placed in June. Yeah, at the end of June in Germany. So we've had lots of biking and running right afterwards. So we had a free time of 6 weeks, and then in the end of summer, at the beginning of October, we started with swimming, with biking and running, and just long, low intensity things. As well as we started to do some weightlifting. So this is where I got introduced into weightlifting. So it's an endurance-based sport, but it's like a full body sport, and there are always like requirements by the Verband, by the organization, and they said if you got a higher maximal strength, you will have better endurance and strength.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
So they ask us to do Olympic weightlifting. So in winter season, we do a lot of different long endurance stuff and maximal strength stuff like weightlifting. And coming to summertime, it's been less strength training, less biking, less running, less swimming, but even more time on the water. So like a usual day in the summer is like, or in the spring is 90 minutes of rowing in the morning.
So intervals based?
Not too much. We usually did the intervals on the rowing machines indoors because rowing on rowing machines is really boring.
Sure.
So most of the times we do the intervals on the rowing machines and like long steady sessions on the rower outside. However, when it comes to preparation for competitions, the only distance that is raced in rowing is 2,000 meters. So for selection, there's like 6,000 as well, but the Olympic distance is 2,000 meters. So starting the competition season, we added like 500-meter intervals, 1 minute rest for 8 times, or something like that, and increasing distances, lowering sets, and something like that. So we just get used to these 2,000 meters.
So you have, I'm just right there, a phenomenal base. You're really good at gymnastics. You've gotten introduced to Olympic weightlifting. Excuse me, and you have the rowing. So any event right now that includes any of those, you pretty much crush them. Is that safe to say?
It's been a good basic. The only issue with that is that in rowing there are 2 weight categories. Just a few people know that because rowing is famous for its heavy boys and big boys.
Yeah.
And as I am 180, I belong to the small rowers.
Oh yeah.
And in rowing, it's all about mass, moving the boat, and length, because you got a longer stroke with being longer. So they had to introduce weight classes, and there are 2 weight classes, like a heavyweight and a lightweight. And with my body height, height, I had to go with a lightweight. So
Really?
my
Wow.
maximum weight I had to get was 72.5 kilo.
Hmm.
So which is pretty light for a 180 guy.
So you had to cut down for that every time you would
Yeah,
compete? Oh shit.
yeah. So it's like in boxing, or I think in powerlifting it's the same. So I had to make weight 2 hours before my starting time.
Okay.
From 2 hours to 1 hour before my starting time. We got a 1 hour period. Yeah. And it's like every sports where you're like flirting with the line. I arrived there with like 74 kilos, 1.5 kilos above weight. And we put clothes on and ran down the regatta.
Oh man.
Yeah. So this has been
Okay, I had
stressful.
no clue. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So there are weight categories in rowing, and it's been a hard time, but you have to be really disciplined to get this.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, with 72.5 kilos, I didn't had a lot of strength, and I was told to not do too much strength training in the off season because I weighed like 78 kilos in the off season
Uh-huh.
and had to cut it down for summer. So I have been, yeah, I've been a good guy in endurance events, but I've been really weak. So when I started CrossFit, I snatched 60 kilos, like
Really?
it's, yeah, 135 pounds. And actually, when I did my first training session in a CrossFit box, I PR'd my power clean with 85 kilos, which is like 185 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
You've come a
not a
long
good
way
strength
from that.
numbers, unfortunately.
I mean, talk about a lot of progression though. That's amazing. So from there, what happened after rowing?
Yeah, so I rode in what's it called, doubles, in doubles. So I joined a friend of mine. So we did a double for the season, and we both had our exams, final exams for school this year. So we just competed at German nationals, and then he went abroad to Africa for his, I don't know how's it called. We do like civil, or just like working for organizations after school. If you don't know what to do, you can do something like that and gain
Mm-hmm.
some experience.
Yeah.
And he did that. So I decided, so I'm going to study medicine. I don't know how much time I got to train. I just lost my partner for the double, and you really have to be, you live together. If you want to be really good in rowing in a double, you spend all your time together, and it's not worth it if
Hmm.
you just, if you form a double, you just have to spend time together, and just looking for another partner to double. Yeah, I didn't thought about that, and it's been stressful to losing weight all the time and spending all the hours on the water. So I thought about, okay, I might quit rowing now. It's, we haven't been too successful, but we talked a lot about this during that time, because we got some members in our rowing clubs who has been like masters athletes, 65 years old, and they were always still chasing their dreams of becoming world champion. And yeah, nowadays as masters they
Yeah.
achieve becoming world champion, but it's not the same becoming a master world champion than becoming
Mm-hmm.
a world champion in the open category,
Sure.
if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
we thought about, okay, we could, yeah, we could still try becoming better rowers, but yeah, we could just lose ourselves doing so.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought about, okay, we might go for it, or we might just stop it and leave it here. And yeah, we both decided to just leave rowing over there. So
Mm.
I thought about rowing for fun, but yeah, I'm not someone who does something for fun. Or it's not fun anymore if you did it like really well, and
Yeah.
then you trim down the volume, and then everything feels just slower.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we both left rowing, but or he still coaches a bit of rowing, but he's not been as competitive as I have been. So yeah, I thought about something else, and I just watched videos. Yeah, I think I watched videos about CrossFit in the internet, and I thought, okay, that's great. I did some gymnastics. I did rowing for endurance. and I know a little about weightlifting. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
when I moved from Kiel to Heidelberg, which is in southern Germany, I decided to switch sports, and I wrote the box owner of CrossFit Schmelztiegel here in Heidelberg if I could come and join a class and try CrossFit. And I wrote the mail like, "Hey, I'm Felix. I would like to try CrossFit, and I got a really solid background. I would really like to maybe try some competitions in the future, and maybe even coach in the box." And yeah, afterwards he told me, like 2 years after I've been there, he receives a lot mails like this, that someone thinks he's good in CrossFit and
Uh-huh.
wants to try it. And he was like, oh, okay, just another one. He might come, but let's see. And yeah, then I started CrossFit, and I did quite good results. Yeah, just from the beginning. And I was a young kid, so I was the youngest in the box. I just became 19 years old.
Mm.
Germany, it's different than in, I don't know how it's in America, but I just experienced in Scandinavia.
Uh-huh.
Your costs for a membership in a box is really a lot lower. It's really cheaper than it's in Germany. In Germany, you have to pay like for unlimited training, you have to pay around 140 euros,
Mm-hmm.
which is a tenth of the amount of the Swedish krona. Swedish is like 1,400 krona
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
unlimited training. And I just heard of your prices is like 700 kronas.
That's unheard of. That's you can barely find that. I mean, if you're in Stockholm at least, like usually it's above €100 or $100, whatever you want to say. Like it's up there. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that's super cheap. I've never heard of a price that cheap. So that's like for anyone who doesn't know, that's like 70, 60 euros. And in dollars, that's like $80. It's no, I haven't heard of that. Like when I used to like Silicon Valley, just um for perspective, I paid, I mean, even $250. Like it was a lot, and that's too
Okay.
much. I think it's too much. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know. Someone told me. So in Denmark, it's cheaper.
Really?
So in
Oh,
Denmark,
okay.
especially for students, they got a good discount for students. So
Huh.
in Germany, no student can pay like 140 euros
Sure. Right.
a month to do sports.
Yep.
So I was lucky to meet the box owner of CrossFit Schmelztiegel, and I got a good discount. So yeah, I started working out and studying or moving. So I moved from being home, and my mother and father took care of me, to living on my own,
Mm.
doing all my washing, cleaning the house, taking care of how to get Wi-Fi, and yeah, from living really carelessly, I had to care about myself and
Mm.
about all my surroundings. I had to meet new friends, so it was a stressful first time. But I was lucky to meet a lot of people in the CrossFit box, and they took care of me as well.
Mm.
So I just started working out like 3 to 4 times a week, and I met good people. I met good friends, and there's been a one of the coaches. I told you about him. He's been into weightlifting. He's been in the national squad in weightlifting,
Mm.
and he coached the weightlifting classes. We had special classes for weightlifting because, as you said, weightlifting is a big part of CrossFit, and having a nice technique in weightlifting helps so much because it's all about efficiency. And if you move well, it's usually easier than if you
Sure.
move crappy. So he joined the training team. He chased his dreams of participating in the under 23-year-old European Championship. So he's been quite good in weightlifting. And yeah, he just took care of my weightlifting. So he introduced me into really solid weightlifting. I joined his training sessions in the weightlifting club as well. So I got into these German league of weightlifting as well. And we're still friends. He unfortunately left the box, but he right now he has changed to CrossFit as well because weightlifting he had to make the jump from under 23 year to the open category, and
Yep.
this is a big jump. Yeah, so he decided to pull out as well as he's full-time working, which is
Mm.
hard to combine. So but we still train together a lot and we live together a lot. So this has been great for
Sure.
my for my career. So yeah.
And so time goes by and you just start getting better very quickly, I assume, and you start competing. Is that what happens?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good point. So I started CrossFit doing like 3 to 4 classes a week. I just have to get used to my life here in Heidelberg, and yeah, I told myself, oh, you should not compete anymore. You got a lot to do for studying. Studying is way more time consuming than going to school.
Sure.
However, you are way more flexible with studying. So yeah, I quickly got into CrossFit way more than I anticipated in the beginning. So
Yeah.
I visited the box like 5, 6, 7 days a week then. And we've had two other good competitors competing in CrossFit. CrossFit in Germany has been quite small at this time in Germany, but they've both been really good CrossFitters. It's been Adam Paul Taylor. He's not that known, and Maurice Lambrecht. He might be a little more famous, especially in German scene. And he's been a gymnastics a gymnast as well. So he's good in things like that. And they did competitive CrossFit, and I was always looking up to them. I remember that Maurice snatched 110 kilos like in the first week I've been there, and I just look at these weights and thought, how can you snatch that? I just could barely lift it off the floor. So so I joined their training group, and we trained like 1 year together probably. And then there were a few competitions they participated in. I don't know, there are a few competitions that don't even exist anymore. There has been, Are You Tough Enough? It's been a competition in the Swiss by a strongman who does a bit of CrossFit. So it's been a strongman biased CrossFit competition. And it was by invitation. So both of them were invited, but Adam just injured himself before. And so his place got free. How's it called?
Yeah,
his spot has to be filled. And Ramon, the event organizer, just asked Adam, hey, do you know someone who might take your place? And Adam told me, yeah, we got a young boy in our box who might do so. So this has been my first competition. I competed in Are You Tough Enough, I think in winter 2016, so 1 year after doing CrossFit. Yeah, I did really bad in the lifting events. So we had a max out clean, we had a max out snatch, and we had a strongman circuit, like this circus dumbbell. I don't know. You probably know that circus dumbbell, shoulder overhead, these lock clean to overhead and things like that. So I was like 80 kilos. Everyone else was 90 to 100 kilo. But in the evening of the first day, they always do a hill run, like a trail hill run. So it's been Switzerland. It's been it's been an original CrossFit competition, like really rural. It's been like 9 o'clock in the evening. We were transported with a small vehicle up to a starting point. It's been dark outside. We had -2 degrees. We just had to bring our headlamps and a backpack, and we got a sandbag put in our backpack. Like, it's been 20 kilo sandbag. So a few people had to tape their backpack so that it holds the weight. They didn't tell us to bring a good backpack. So yeah, we've been there, and we started like every 10 seconds, one of us starts. And the starting number was, how's it called? You were separated by your placement right then. So as I was placed second to last, I had to start, I think, in the first heat. And was the second or third starter. But with the starting list after placements, or due to the placements, the weak guys who did not perform really well in the strength events, they started together. So I had a good Swiss boy just starting right in front of me, and we both aimed for how maybe we could do really well in this event. So we just ran together all the way. And on top of the hill, they just did a fire. How's it called? A Lagerfeuer?
Bonfire.
Bonfire. Yeah. So we've been afterwards. We just ran up the hill, died a few times going up there, but it's been a great achievement. And we came up there just relaxed by the bonfire and waited for everyone else to arrive. And late in the evening, we found out that he came first, closely followed by me coming in second. So we made a lot of points in this event, and it's been a transition. There's been Yannis Arts from CrossFit Mallorca. I don't know if you know him. He's been an old CrossFitter as well, so he's been into CrossFit a little longer. But he's been a good biker, or he's an endurance-based athlete as well. And traditionally, he has won this event. So every year when Are You Tough Enough happened, they had the trail run. It's not always the same, but similar. And usually he won it, and he came in third this year. So it's been a good accomplishment. And this has been the start of my competitions. This has been the start of my competition spirit, I think. The second day we've had more like CrossFit specific events, and I even made it to the final cut. So I worked up from 30th to, I think, 15th before the final event. And they had a cut to we thought about the top 10. So I was like, okay, my body is done for the day. I'm over. I made it into the top 15. I'm fine with that. I won't make the final cut. I thought so. And then they announced that the top 20 are going to compete in the final event. And it was like, the final event was a 2-part event, consisting of, you had to do, I think, cleans with 100 kilo, like 9 cleans, rope climbs, or 12 cleans, 3 rope climbs, 9 clean and jerks with 100 kilo, 2 rope climbs, and 6 snatches with 100 kilos, and 1 rope climb.
You said 6 snatches with 100 kilos?
Yeah. So, these days, it was an event, like, I think 2 guys finished it. So 100 kilos over there was quite a big number, but it was known for strength bias. But my goal for this day was just to clean 100 kilo for 12 and 9 times. And I was really happy doing so. And it was a 2-part workout. And the second part was starting with, it's been a variation of King Kong, like muscle ups, deadlifts, and handstand push-ups. And they started deadlifting with 180 kilo. My PR was 140 or 160. And I've been on the floor just sitting on my barbell and cheering every other athlete on, because I didn't lift 180 once.
Oh man, that sucks.
But it's been all right for me, because I didn't even think of getting that far. So I had a good time. I've met so many great athletes over there. It's been an international field of athletes. I don't know. Do you know Kevin Winkens from Germany? No. He's been to regionals a few times. So he's been there as well. And Philip Young Fisker from Denmark, he's been there as well. He's a strong dude. He's big. So I met a few cool people. It's been my first competition. And this just lit my fire, I think. So.
And then the competitions to follow, I mean, fast forward now many years, like when did you start winning competitions?
It took some time, probably. So afterwards I just joined Maurice Lambrecht for some team competitions to get introduced to the scene, and we've been to the Swiss Alpine Battle, Berlin Throwdown quite a few times. And winning a competition, I think I never won a competition until this year. Not true. I've been to the Norwegian Throwdown when it was when they introduced it in 2019, I think. I've been there. I barely came second. I've been first until the final event, and then lost first place to come in second in the final event, which was a pity. In the same year, I competed in the German Throwdown, and I lost second place in the final event. I came in third at the final, but there was Adrian Mundweiler. He came in first, so first place was secured by Adrian Mundweiler, and I battled it out with Moritz Fiebig from Germany. He came finally second. I came third, and and then Corona came, and we didn't know how everyone was training. I didn't train too good in the first. We got a shutdown, pretty big shutdown in Germany.
So you can go to the CrossFit box, the gym?
I couldn't. So we got the first shutdown in the spring in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
And I was not allowed to. So nobody was allowed to train in the gym. Even the trainers were not allowed. The coaches were not allowed to train. So Josef, the weightlifter, he bought a few equipments. We were able to rent equipment from our weightlifting club. So we had a lifting bar, we had some plates. He bought a Concept 2 bike erg. So we spent a lot of time training outside or in the garages.
Yeah.
And then we got some freedom towards summer. I was able to train in the box again, and then we got another lockdown towards winter time. And in this lockdown, the coaches were able to train in the box. We were allowed to train in doubles. So we got another young coach. So I've spent a lot of time training with him and preparing for the Open 2021. So this year's Open.
Yeah.
So that's been a great time for me because there was nothing else to do. Studying was all online. So there has been, I got a lot of time to train.
Yeah.
And everything else was shut down. So what to do then? Spending our time in the box and train hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been worth it. I finished the Open in first in Germany. Then on to quarterfinals, I came in 48th place in Europe. The top 60 qualified for the semifinals. And then I competed in semifinals and came 16th or 15th in Europe. I don't know. Or in the German throwdown, which has been my semifinal. Yeah, so it's been a really good year for me. And I spend a lot of training. I share my training, the other way around. Joshua Wichtrup, another good German, or probably the most famous German athlete. He's been to the games. He shared his training plan with me. So we trained the same for the past year. And I moved to him for the quarter and semifinals. So we competed in person against each other, which is, I think, way better than doing the workouts alone at home.
Yeah.
And we joined forces for the Battle the Beach. It's been a competition in northern Germany. We won that. And then I was asked by Lazar. He's been the organizer of the functional fitness in Germany. So they started to grow quite a lot during Corona. I think in Sweden it's quite big, and Norway as well. So they are rising. It's been like CrossFit is a company and they do things great, but nowadays they try to get these functional fitness aspect, making it like a national sport that you can introduce like these anti-drug systems to better controls systems, and it's like making it the final goal is to making functional fitness an Olympic sport. So far in the future.
Yeah.
And he asked me, hey, you should compete in the functional fitness as well. And so we had regionals and functional fitness for German only, and finally the national championships. And I won that just in the end of September, and qualified for the World Championships. They will be held in Norrköping at the end of November in Sweden. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, nice. So the when you said, I've seen that too, they're very strict on usage of steroids and other substances that are not allowed. Do you see that as prevalent in CrossFit today? Like, have you come across it yourself?
I haven't. So yeah, I never met, or I was never asked. I've never met someone. So in my knowledge, at least.
Yeah,
But I think it's a big issue in CrossFit because, as you told before, right now there's a good prize purse in CrossFit competitions. You can earn some money, and it's a growing sport,
sure.
and it's a sport where it's easily achievable, or you can easily enhance your performance with doping.
Sure.
So you got probably a few people who know a lot about doping, and they could easily get better with doping. So
Sure.
it's a pity because yeah, it's cheating. It's not only cheating to your competitors, but it's cheating against yourself. It's not fair, and you might hurt your body. So it's not worth it. I think it's not worth it, but it's the same in cycling. So
Sure. Yeah.
nobody will win the Tour de France without doping.
Right. It's an interesting topic. When it comes to functional fitness and these competitions, is there any difference in your opinion to CrossFit?
They always state there isn't a difference. They want to make a difference to CrossFit, but at the end, they are pretty similar. There's a few differences. They say that there will you will know every exercise, so there are no randomly picked distances. Also, for example, you will never have it's not true. So I thought there will never be like a hill run, like in the Swiss Alpine battle. You go from there to there, have to pull things like that. But they had a run in the World Championships the past years in Malmö, I think. So that's not true. But they introduced the workouts 5 to 6 weeks before competition, so you can try them already. That's a difference. And they got specific categories, like they got a mixed modal category. It's like a usual CrossFit workout where you have different movements paired together, like a typical CrossFit workout. Then you got the power category, which is a small workout for testing your power output.
Yeah.
For example, at German Nationals, we had to do 30 thrusters with 50 kilos, followed by a 500-meter row on damper 10. That's it. Just all out.
That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It hurts.
Yes.
But it's a power output test. Then we got in the category endurance. So we've had running, followed by double unders, and then in the remaining time, row for distance. We had 5 intervals with 3 minutes and 1 minute rest afterwards. That's been our test at German Nationals. Then you got a gymnastics test, which is only gymnastics, or mainly gymnastics. So we had pull-ups, rope climbs, bar muscle ups, strict hands and push-ups, parallel hands and push-ups. So I think CrossFit is more like you mix things up a little more, and the functional fitness is you separate them a little more.
Interesting. Yeah.
So but to be good in functional fitness, you have to be good in CrossFit and vice versa. Right. So I think the same people will do good in both.
What it strikes me as when I hear this is one is more injury prone than the other. And that is probably CrossFit being more injury prone because you mix such different movements that your body is not necessarily always prepared for what's to come unless you're an elite athlete. So if you do more of the, let's say, categorical, like what you're saying with power or endurance, all right, your body knows what it's stepping into. It's not just an abrupt, sudden change. Yeah, at least that's what comes to me. Do you have a preference yourself? Is there one that you prefer?
I'm not sure about your point because you got a few weeks to prepare for the events. However, I think why most of the CrossFitters injure themselves because they move not that efficiently, not that clean. So they have when they get fatigued, they will get into bad forms in Olympic weightlifting, and this is not good for your body. So, but the same happens during the functional fitness tests. So, and especially, which is another big injury point, is gymnastics in CrossFit, I think. So the high capacity of butterfly pull-ups
Right.
and bar muscle ups. So your body is not used to just, you rely on your tendons
Yep.
to hold your
Exactly.
body because
Right.
you want to use the hip, you want to
Yep.
use less of your muscles because
Sure.
they will fatigue. And if you got a gymnastics test, which only consists of gymnastics movements, it might be really fatiguing for especially those parts.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's less risky to do functional
Mm-hmm.
fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure about that. So this might be something to
Sure.
discuss.
Yeah.
But it's just my opinion. You're right. CrossFit is it's dangerous as well, but it just depends on your capacities and how smart you're going to approach a workout, I think.
Sure. Yeah. It's also the
So this,
programming. Yeah.
I think this, and the programming. It depends on
Yeah.
the programming. It really depends. And I think quite a lot of competitions, they just improved their programming the past years.
Yep.
Just so like French Throwdown, they got a really way better programming.
Mm-hmm.
They test the different paths as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the difference is not too big.
Yeah.
So, sorry, what was your question before? You asked me
No,
something.
you answered it. Yeah, it was what is more injury prone, but your opinion on that. But going into, I'm curious now. As you've been working out so significantly, especially this last year of COVID, how do you feel yourself? Like, what do you eat?
So this has been a big issue of mine. So there's a little background as well. So when I was a kid, I have never been someone who got fat. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always the skinny guy. In rowing, I've had to cut down weight, and there was a time during my puberty where I struggled with eating. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been like really, really thin,
Mm-hmm.
so that my parents had to look for me. I've never been to a clinic for something like that, but I had an eating issue,
Mm.
which I solved myself somehow. But I always struggled with eating. Um,
Do you mind sharing?
so, hmm?
When you say eating issue, do you mind sharing what
So
how does it
yeah,
present
I don't
itself?
know. It's like I erased it from my mind a little bit on my own. I don't know if you can say so,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I don't. I just don't know when time. So how old? I think I was like probably 16 years old, 15 years old, and I just got into how to eat healthy. Just inform myself about ingredients and
Mm-hmm.
doing so I cut down weight. How's it called? I'm I didn't recognize it,
Mm-hmm.
so I started weighing probably, so this was the time before rowing, and I weighed like probably end of 60 kilo, and then I lost weight to 52 kilos.
Hmm. Wow.
But look in the mirror, I always thought, okay, I'm like not really thin.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a bad self-awareness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone around me was like, oh, you have to eat more. And I thought, okay, I just eat healthy right now. I didn't mean to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't know, a
Sure.
bad
Yeah.
self-awareness. I thought I had to eat really clean, um, and someday, like my parents were really frustrated and they didn't know what to do, and it's been a bad time. So because
Mm.
I thought I would do everything right. I thought I would just eat healthy, but it was not healthy at that point. It was way too less.
Yeah.
I did sports, too much sports, too much activity, ate less food. So yeah,
Yeah. And for
I
those who function on pounds, that's roughly 135 to and then going down to 120 pounds, and that's for someone who's roughly 6 feet, 5'11"
yeah
tall.
yeah
So that's yeah yeah.
yeah. So
So
we've
you get
been to the
perspective.
doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me, hey, if this will continue, we have to take care of you. We have to get you in a hospital, in a clinic
What were you
for
doing for working out? Yeah.
yeah. So I did gymnastics and
Oh, okay.
did running. I ran a lot. So
And then
um,
you were just eating like healthy, but not enough. Just very
yeah,
little. Yeah.
and it's not like our usual breakfast at home was like white bread and honey and Nutella.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we haven't eaten really healthy at home, and so I switched honey and Nutella to. So I usually ate like 4 slices of bread with honey and Nutella,
Hmm.
and I cut it down to two slices, one with cheese and chicken,
Hmm.
and only half a bread with honey. And for noon, we usually ate what mom has cooked.
Hmm.
So like usual stuff like noodles, bolognese.
Yeah.
But then I thought, okay, um, how's it called? Beef? Is it called beef?
Hmm.
The meat?
Yep.
It's like really fatty beef. So I told my mom, oh, you should buy low fat
Hmm.
beef and things
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in the evening, we ate dark bread with chicken and cheese, and yeah, I took less butter
Hmm.
underneath my bread and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Okay.
just I thought it was healthy, but it just was too less food.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. What and
I
you
can wait. Yeah. So
how did you come back from that? You said it was more of a self realization that you needed to shift it. How what happened?
yeah, so I got the oh my parents are really how's it called? They were afraid of me,
Mm.
afraid for me. I don't know. They really were besorgt sein.
Yeah, they were
Um,
worried.
they were worried. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They were really worried. I've been to the doctor. He told me I have to gain weight now, otherwise this won't end good for me. And I don't know. Then we've always been to Denmark for vacation. So
Hmm.
we live next to Denmark. I was born in Kiel. We lived in Kiel, and I grew up in Kiel. So we usually spend 1 or 2 weeks a year in Denmark, and we did so over Easter this
Hmm.
year. And I remember spending vacation in Denmark, and we got all these chocolate for Easter,
Hmm.
and I didn't eat anything sweet in this time,
Hmm.
so I neglected every sweets,
Yeah.
everything unhealthy, and yeah, I don't know how it started, but I tried one of these Lindor eggs. I don't know if they are popular in Sweden as well, but they are really um,
Lint? Are we talking about the chocolate lint?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Lind chocolate,
Sure.
Lind
Yeah.
Lindor, these big red, delicious pieces of chocolate.
Maybe. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lind chocolate. So
Yeah.
we've had Lind chocolate and M&Ms.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I tasted them again, and because yeah, everyone told me, hey, you have to eat, you have to eat. Yeah, and then what it was like vice versa. The For the next 2 years afterwards, I couldn't control myself eating. So
Uh-huh.
when I started eating something unhealthy, which I did then, I was like, I ate as much as I could until I was like, oh, I couldn't barely move because
Sure.
my stomach hurt so much. Yeah, then I gained like probably 15 kilos
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
really fast.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I started eating again. I started rowing. Um, yeah, and it's been like I increased my sports volume, but I increased my eating volume as well.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I started eating unhealthy again. So my parents took care of me that I eat healthy stuff as well, but
Ah.
I didn't care anymore.
Huh.
And I had quite long, so I've had issues quite a long time with stop to eat.
Mm.
So I couldn't stop eating sweet things. When I started eating chocolate,
Mm.
I thought, okay, I just might get another one and
Mm.
another one. And then I thought, okay, chocolate is really unhealthy. I might eat a nut or two to get something healthy in me.
Mm. Mm.
It's been like this for like 1 or 2 years where I just ate until I was feeling really bad.
Mm.
But it has helped me, and I gained like 75 kilos with rowing, and yeah, it's been a dark time for me, I think, because I've been in really good shape before, and then I just dieted everything down, so I had to start at zero again. But it's been a time where I learned a lot about nutrition as well, so I still know all the ingredients of the most important foods. So yeah, so I got a little background in eating since then, but yeah, right now it's still the same. I'm still eating not clean. I'm just thinking of eating enough because I'm not someone who's gaining a lot of fat or mass.
Sure.
So if I forget to eat, I quickly lose weight.
Yep.
And I just have to eat to fuel myself. I train a lot, so I don't really care about what I eat. I just care about that I eat enough.
Yeah. What is a day?
It has worked.
Do you remember? So yesterday, what did you eat?
What did I eat yesterday? So for the past 7 days, I've been sick, which has been, so it's a little bit different.
Okay, maybe during a regular training day.
Okay, during regular. So I usually start with breakfast in the morning, and most of the times I have cereals, like chocolate cereals with whole milk, because it's easy and it's fast. I'm a student, so I don't have to pay a lot of money for cereals. I just pay them when they are offered, or buy them when they are on offer. So
like on sale.
When they're on sale, yes, true. Sorry. So usually chocolate cereals with milk. That's my breakfast. If I don't have cereals, I usually eat bread with Nutella and honey. So back to the roots. I do really like this, and on weekends I usually buy bread, so it's good. Then if I'm able to, I train in the morning time for the first session. I might eat a banana or an apple or something like that afterwards.
Let me ask, how many slices of bread do you eat when you do eat it?
So usually, how's it called? You got a bread, big one, and how is these called?
Slices?
It's a slice if you like small breads. How are they called in English?
Like the brötchen?
Yeah. How's it called in English?
Small baguettes. I don't know. Like I'm not sure.
Okay, so
buns.
Bread.
Yeah.
So in slices of bread, I usually eat 6 slices of bread, something like that. Like it's usually the same. It's like I eat a slice with marmalade only, a slice with peanut butter and marmalade. Then we got some syrup, 2 slices with syrup, then 2 slices with honey, and 1 slice with Nutella.
Okay.
So that's typical breakfast if I got bread.
Sure.
Which is not healthy though. But it does the trick.
Okay.
And I got to do a lot of sports, so I'm fine with way too many carbohydrates, but it's okay.
Sure. And you said banana.
Yeah.
Or apple or
and
fruit. Yeah.
I'm always thinking of, I just have to get healthy things in. So I think of it like if I fulfill my healthy ingredients, I can eat everything on top. It's okay if it's a little unhealthy.
Sure.
So I just make sure that I eat everything I need and healthy things. So I take care that I eat like fruits and vegetables every day. I only drink water or milk, so I don't drink barely any juices or soft drinks. So mainly I drink water. And for noon we eat usual things. Like when I've been studying, I just went to the canteen, ate and was just eating what they offered this day. And
do
in the
you
evening,
like a lot of portions then, or is it just
we've had so we got I got some good friends studying with me, and we got these to get into the canteen. We get these turning, how's it called, obstacles. You get in, you pay, and then it rotates. Then you get your food, but you paid in the beginning, and you have to pay to get in. But we figured out we could get in, like if you are really close together, two guys could pass with one paying. So
student tricks, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we cheated a lot, but we got our meals really cheap, and so we sometimes get two portions for the price of one.
Okay. So you can only get one portion per time that you pay. That sucks.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah.
we were
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
That's rough.
so
I would hate that.
Yeah. It's been good times. So yeah,
Yeah.
and in the evening we usually my girlfriend and I, we cook again, like noodles with easy ingredients, or like salads. We've been into salads the past few months, so we do like just the cucumber, paprika, how's it called, usual corn, avocado, just mix it together, and we just have bread as extra.
I mean, usually people eat that as a side, but especially you as a CrossFit athlete, I'm just baffled. Like, it sounds like you don't eat that much. Like, how do you sustain such, like,
yeah, I don't know.
workouts?
So I'm always struggling with holding my weight, so this might be a problem. So yeah, and I think I still eat a lot of sweets. So in the evening we usually eat a chocolate
bar.
Yeah. Bar.
Okay.
Like 100 grams of chocolate. And when I gained weight in the past, I used to eat another portion of cereals in the evening before going to bed.
I see. Okay.
Sometimes I take a shake as well, but I don't like cleaning things. So I'm always really, so I don't want to make a shake because I have to clean the shaker and can't forget it in my backpack.
All right.
So that's it, probably most of the times.
Yeah.
I should get better in this because this might decrease my performance somehow.
I think that's probably one aspect that would really get your numbers to climb significantly. I recently had I have the same type of body type composition that you do, and even down to the eating habits. I'll go into that briefly until I go into the next part. I think it's more and more so common. Like, I thought I would. For me, it's like I was insecure growing up, and every girls like abs, so I wanted to get the best possible abs because I wanted the girls to like me, right? So and I got really into the whole food scene, like, what's healthy, what's not healthy. So it was low fat at that point. I didn't realize, okay, well, sugar didn't matter, so I still had, like, I tried to cut down on the fat, like cut the fat off of meat and so forth, but I would eat my father's pies or whatever, stuff like that. So it's not, I mean, it's not, it was a skewed perception of what healthy was, but it started implanting that view. I was not eating enough then too. I didn't drop weight like you did, but it kind of implanted that a not the most healthy view on what food is, and then that turned into I can never be big enough. Sometimes it's called bigorexia, like I can never be muscular enough, and I would always, and then it became like I needed to eat as much as possible to gain weight because I had a very hard time. I still have a hard time gaining weight, and at this point now it's much better, but it's still like one of these interesting. I can take it too far, or I can, like, it's always on a scale, and I really can relate to what you're talking about. And I think a lot of professional athletes, I mean, what I've come across too and speaking to them, it's rather common. There's another athlete who's just on, Lukas Groloff, who is a Danish CrossFitter.
Oh, you've met him? Oh, you talked to him?
Yeah, he was just on the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, right before me.
Yeah, so was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, we just texting a lot, Lucas and I, because we've seen each other on the leaderboard. He's a young guy as well. He's thin as well. He's not one of the biggest, but he's like the expert in gymnastics.
Yes.
So
exactly.
we text quite a lot. So he's a good guy.
Nice. Yeah. So he's the same. I mean, you might know, but his biggest thing for him to get stronger, so he's working on getting stronger like yourself too. It's just, all right, I need to set my calorie count to very high, 4,500 calories, and I need to look at it as a job. Like, this is my job to eat and this is when I eat, and this is how much I eat. And I mean, the same as you. Like, he doesn't like to cook. He likes things to be easy, and he's a student.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the most major things. Like, I can speak to myself, and I mean, yeah, you know it already, right? I mean, if you eat more, you'll perform better. So, yeah. Anyway,
It's time consuming though, and
it
it's
is.
stressful sometimes. So
Shakes,
I
baby,
always,
shakes,
yeah,
smoothies.
shakes.
Yeah,
Shakes is the best thing to do. I think I had some times where I drank a lot of shakes with instant oats inside, so these were
sure.
great.
Yeah,
You got a lot
yeah.
of calories in a small amount,
Yep, yep.
volume. So
Yeah. Those are, yeah, by far the easiest, like hiding in different type of nut butters, like you're saying, peanut butter, but
yeah,
even like I mean, there's so many different hazelnut butter, there's almond butter, but putting that in banana, berries, whatever. If you do dairy, you seem to be doing like high fat yogurt, oats. If you do well on gluten, I mean, and you seem to be fine with it. So,
yeah,
but yeah, dude, that's. I mean, I used to live off of that. That's what I used to do too, like before going to bed or like in morning. But yeah, you get over freaking cleaning that shaker or blender. You're good.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
simply like that, and everything else stresses me out. There were a few people who tried to convince me following their nutrition programming, and I tried it several times, but
yeah.
like after tracking, so usually they are based on tracking macronutrients.
Mm-hmm. Nutrients. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
but I was always stressed out, like, oh, I have to. So if I got a plan, I want to fulfill it,
Mm-hmm.
and if I don't hit it, it stresses me out somehow.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
just
get it.
tried it for 1 week, and I thought, okay, this is way more stressful than training,
Sure.
so I don't think it's worth it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I just have to get on my calories. So I don't care how. At least if I get some healthy things to eat every day, I'm fine with that. And
Sure.
otherwise, I just have to eat. So
Yeah. What when it comes to sleep, how do you go about that?
yeah, I think I'm really bad in eating. I'm really bad in supplementation. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't take a lot of supplements.
Sure.
I try to get my regular dose of creatine in, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I just try to, but I think sleep is the one thing I really take care of, that I get enough sleep. So I try to sleep at least 8 hours, preferably 9 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
which is hard if you have to work. So, but as I'm a student and right now I'm about to be done studying, so I got enough time to sleep,
Sure.
which
Yeah.
is, yeah, I think sleep is still the most underrated but most important thing for recovery.
Sure. Yeah. Moving into mental performance, or is there anything that you do on that end to either calm down, like let's speak to meditation, maybe breath work, maybe you like to go for walks, like do you have any type of practice to for your mental strength and
So
mindset?
I have never had issues with the mental side. So
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that I changed of the past, especially the past year, when I started working more closely with Joshua Wichtrup,
Mm-hmm.
so I recognized that he's way better in saying that he's going to make it. So
Yeah.
when I went to a competition, I thought, okay, I trained good, but the other guys probably trained even better. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if I could win this. And yeah, I did well, but yeah. So the year where I came in second in the Norwegian and third in the German throwdown was the year where I realized, okay, I belong there. I can win this.
Yeah.
And even without having the perfect preparation, I can do really well.
Sure.
And then I spent a lot of time, especially during quarterfinals and semifinals with Joshua. And when we did the quarterfinals, it was like you have to get into the top 60 to get into the semifinals, which is the biggest step for us. So top 5 to make it to the games, and the semifinals, you have to be a lucky guy for us to get in there, because the top 5, they are quite on another level right
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
But we wanted to make it to the semifinals. And I remembered the first day we did 3 workouts, and I beat him in all 3 workouts, I think. And usually so it's like he beats me in the first one, I beat him in the second one, he beats me in the third. It's like we changed places every time usually, but on this day I beat him in every workout. And however, in the evening, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if this was enough. So the leaderboard refreshes at, I think it was like between 9 and 10 in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't have a clue where we stand. And Yoshi was like, Felix, calm down. We will make it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, he was really believing that we will make it to semifinals. And he got beaten by me for the whole day, and he still believed in making it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was right in the end. But this is something, it seems to always be a little arrogant or egoistic, but it's like, as a competitor, you have to believe that you are the best.
For sure.
To be the best. So
absolutely,
you have to get there and say, okay, these guys, they look much bigger than me. They might be physically better, but I will beat them in these competitions and these workouts. So I think this has been a big takeaway for me from this season, that I will not go in a competition and will get influenced by the appearance of athletes, because there are quite a few really big athletes out there.
Oh, for sure.
I was like, though, if they stand next to me, how shall I beat them?
Yeah.
And at the end, I often beat them.
There we go.
So you should never get influenced by the appearance, and you should never trust social media as well. So if you scroll through social media, especially so when I was sick for the past 7 days, it's been brutal to just look at social media. So we got a competition in 1.5 weeks, and I'm in the worst shape of my life probably right now, but it's so bad looking at social media when you are sick, because there's no sense in training right now. I could get even hurt or injured. I need my heart for the next 80 years probably, so I should not train right now. And so you can't change it. So you should not make your head around it. Just, okay, I can't do it right now. They just post their highlights. There are a few guys who are injured as well. They might even be sick in the moment. You can't change it. So stay on your lane. Don't care about the others, and do the best you can. So
there's the comparison is the theft of all joy. There's a quote that goes like that. I mean, it's so freaking true. Like when you start looking at other people, like it's just about focusing on your lane. What can you do? What is your performance? Arnold Schwarzenegger would have this thing where he would, I mean, that is a way to get into other people's minds. If you start posting your highlight reels right before a competition, like, because people are on social media. Like he would shit talk other people before these competitions, because he know they would be mentally weaker, and that would be, I mean, that's a hit for him, get an upper edge like that. So I don't know if you want to get into that, but you might be. It's interesting.
We do the same. So if someone asks me on day 2 how I feel, I will never say I feel like crap.
Yeah, sure.
I always say I'm feeling like I haven't done anything. It's just you should never show any weakness to anyone who's competing against you. So there are friends, I tell the truth. So I'm friends with a lot of competitors in Germany. So like Moritz Fiebig, he's a good guy. We talk a lot and we talk the truth to each other, but I still take care of what I say. So I'm thinking about what I'm saying, and it's like the mental part is way more important in sports than you think, especially in CrossFit. I think I still believe that there are a few guys, or a lot of guys, who are, if we just compare physical states, that they are better than I am. So if we look at our strength numbers, they will be better. If we look at our rowing capacity, running capacity, they might be faster. But at the end, it's about how are you willing to hurt? And I think what really does make the difference is how do you pace correctly. So there are quite a lot of people who are physically really, really fit, but they don't know where to slow it down to recover during a workout, and where to make up time. So if I look at the workout, in my head, I'm going through the workout and looking at, okay, this is the exercise where I'm good at, where I could recover. This is exercise where I will be probably a little worse than the rest. So I have to make ground over there. And I look at the exercise which makes the biggest part of the workout. So I think this is the art of programming, that you program workouts where it's not only one exercise that dedicates the finish of the workout. For example, the power output test at the German nationals for functional fitness, the 30 thrusters with 50 kilo into 500-meter row. If we look at this workout, this is not the perfect example, but it's a good example. If you lose any time in the 30 thrusters, so 30 thrusters with 50 kilo for the most guys is not too bad, but a few might think, okay, I could split the thrusters into 18 and 12, for example. But you lose, like, if you drop the bar once, you lose like 5 seconds in the thruster part of the workout. And on a 500-meter row, you will never make up 5 seconds.
Right.
So if I row 1 minute 30 on the 500 as a split time, nobody will row 125.
Yeah.
Neither will someone row 135. So if you lose any time on the thrusters portion, you won't make up on the rower. So yeah. So it's all about the thrusters in this workout. And it's quite the same in most of the workouts. So there's one specific part of the workout that dictates the outcome.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think this is the most important part. You have to know how you can push to finish this part of the workout first or the quickest. And yeah, you have to know your body.
Yeah. When it comes to structuring your own training, you said that you've done similar programming to Joshua. What does that look like for you? What does a week of training look like for you? Do you have certain days that are just focused on weightlifting, or is it a mix of everything? Yeah.
So in the past, I did my own programming, or at the beginning, I followed the box programming, which has been nice, and the coaches really took care of me. Then I was introduced by Josef to weightlifting, and he wrote me some weightlifting plans. So I did on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I did a weightlifting only session, like a typical weightlifting session.
Yep.
Pulls, clean and jerk snatches, back squats, something like that. And then at the end, last year, just 1 year ago, I joined Joshua on his programming, and it's like pretty typical plan of, for example, Monday we do squats, Tuesday we do more like deadlifts, then we add endurance on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and it's a good mixture. We got a lot of progressions in there. So usually when I programmed on my own, I barely did any progressions. I just looked for which part of the body did I train yesterday, what do I want to train today. So I don't train the same parts every day, but I change it up.
Yep.
And right now, the program by Joshua is way more structured. So we got a progression from week to week. We working with percentages.
Nice.
And we got intervals with specific background. Like we got, you have to bike at 80% and do 5 power cleans, 2-minute rest. And you choose your power cleans that you can go unbroken. And the big difference I recognized is that when I did programming on my own, I usually did like, I want to go all out, or I will make it hurt. But with joining Joshua, we do a lot more stuff of do things controlled. Just don't go all out every time. Just take your time, or choose. So if I programmed an EMOM on my own, I always thinking of how many reps can I do that I will make the EMOM in total, but that it will be really exhausting for me. And right now, for example, we sometimes do EMOMs where it's like you do, for example, 5 burpee box jump over in 1 minute, which is like really easy. But next to the programming, it says you have to focus on really fast and controlled burpee box jump over. For example, that you get to learn the movement when you're tired, for example.
Sure.
So these are things, it's a lot of more practice than training, if you can say so.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Practicing things is a big part of the programming, and it pays off because it's not always about your physical ability, but it's about how effectively and economically you move during one exercise in CrossFit.
Moving into gymnastics, as you know a thing or two about that, what would you say are common mistakes that people do, and how would they be able to fix them?
So gymnastics is, I think it always seems to be really complicated, but gymnastics usually is built from hollow to arch. So this is the foundation of every move in gymnastics. If you watch Olympic gymnasts doing their things, it's like always they get their tension out of the hollow or arch positioning, and it's like it's not out of the arms. And so if you don't look at the rings are different because this is mainly strength, but every other element is usually out of the midline. So I think gymnast, how's it called? So the gymnastic parts are mainly built or performed from the midline if you do it correctly. And I think CrossFitters usually lose their attention by flexing their knees, for example. On the butterflies, they're losing their attention, their midline, by bringing their heels up at the back. So they don't get the direction of forces into their upper body because they just slam their foot down to the ground, which makes a force into the ground instead of going up. So it's hard to explain a little bit, but
anyone who's listening to this, if you really want to understand what we're talking about, Google, I would say gymnastics CrossFit kipping, and you'll see what a correct way of doing it would look like. And you probably know. I mean, if you have bent legs while you're doing any type of kipping, you're off. That's what we're talking about in simple terms. Yes. Yeah.
And it's way more. It costs energy to bend your necks as well. So it makes your pull-up worse, and it even costs more energy to make it worse. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's twice the energy you're wasting for nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to this is changing direction slightly. What are your goals now? I mean, you're a student too. You're studying medicine. What are your goals going forward now, like both CrossFit and life?
Yeah. So originally I thought about this being my last season because I just finished my studies, and we have to add 1 year of internships at the end of our studying. Sure. So in the middle of November, I'm going to start working full time, which makes everything a little more complicated. I will figure it out anyhow. So, however, Corona strikes, and this season it's been a good season for me, but it's been a little bit of pity. So I just got to semifinals, but we're not able to compete live. We had to do everything online. So I thought about, if I can hang on, I will try to stay on that level, hopefully increase a little bit in my performance over the next year. I have to look how I can get my training, because I got a girlfriend. She's working as a dentist. She's just started working as a dentist as well. So we will both arrive in the evening. And if I will always leave for training, this is not good for any relationship. Right. So yeah, I have to figure out how I will do my training but yeah, I thought about this in the beginning of the studies as well, so it will work out somehow.
What is it, to get to the games, or do you have like a bigger goal overall?
I don't think so. So originally, everyone wants to go to the games, but to be honest, I'm not sure if I would ever make it. So you have to dedicate a lot, and besides dedicating a lot, so there are a lot of people dedicating a lot, but only a small percentage of these will make it to the games.
Right.
And it's a long way getting there. Nobody knows if you will get there. It's a way you will probably hurt your body as well. So it's like, it's not a sport that is healthy for your body doing it for competition reasons, probably. So I didn't hurt myself. I was never injured. So I'm a lucky guy, because I care if I move well, which is a big part. And the games athletes, they move well as well. So otherwise they were not where they are. However, it's a full-time job nowadays. The level increases every year, and I'm happy with where I am right now. I just recognize, okay, I will never earn any money with CrossFit, or not the money to live with. Or yeah. So I will never earn enough money, and I think this is another big part of my success. I'm a semifinals athlete right now, so which is an accomplishment by itself, I think. And I thought a lot of resting my studies and going full-time training. But I think this is another stressor, because right now I can say I will train as hard as I can, I will compete as good as I can, but if I won't achieve the goals I would like to, I got my real job as well. So if I fail in CrossFit, I will be a doctor. So which is an accomplishment as well. So if you do it like most of the games athletes, or there are quite a few, I think, I'm not sure if Lucas wants to go all in CrossFit as well. I'm not sure about that.
Yes, he said that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like you dedicate your life, your identity is then fully linked to CrossFit or to competing. And it's a risky move, because you might quickly lose fun doing this. So I train a lot because I enjoy training, and I enjoy competing, but I'm not sure if I would enjoy things like that if this is the only thing I had to do. It's cool for half a year. And I'm thinking about, we got a final state exam at the end of my internships, and then I'm officially a doctor. So I'm thinking about finishing that and then taking 1 year off for fully training. So afterwards I will start working full time, and this will not work out with a good athletic career, but I'm thinking about taking 1 year off or half a year off, maybe starting to work as a coach somewhere to pay my daily life. And get really into training for 1 year, and afterwards, wherever I will end up, I just say I tried it. I gave my very best, and now it's time to let it go. I had a good time, and so I think this is my plan for the next 2 years. So 1 year of internships and trying to train as good as I can, and then 1 year of going all in, looking where I've end up.
So to wrap this podcast episode up, a few rapid fire questions. What is your favorite meal?
Noodle bolognese. Easy to do, delicious, and not too unhealthy.
Let's put it like this. If you would have a last meal, like, all right.
Okay.
Your last meal, what would it be?
A pizza, probably. Pizza.
Okay. And this, we're talking like a flat one, like a traditional German, like it's not your thick American style, it's your flat German
I think I prefer American style pizzas. I like the dough. Is it called dough?
Yeah. Okay. And favorite music to train to?
I don't care. I listen to charts. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah. The exercise that you were at the best at.
none of them really, like altogether.
Yeah.
So I'm not a specialist in one exercise. I really like handstand walking. I'm good at handstand walking,
Okay.
but I'm probably not the best in it. But I don't have big holes in my game, so
Yeah. What is the worst one then?
pure strength stuff like
Sure.
back squats
Yeah. What
compared to elite athletes. So yeah.
yeah, sure. And what would a perfect day look like to you?
Oh, that's a tough question. Yeah, probably waking up, waking up by the sun, not by anything else, and
And
then
this I should paraphrase. I should say it in a different way. What, and it could be anywhere in the world. You imagine the perfect day.
so yeah, I've been on vacation to Norway, so I really like Norway, or I like the
Okay.
nature, and I
Mm-hmm.
like the mountains and the sea. So this is a perfect country for me to be in. So probably waking up somewhere at the ocean in Norway, having a good breakfast with my girlfriend, leaving for training like 1 or 2 hours, and then going out for a hike.
Mm.
Yeah, so this is great. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. When it comes to 10 years from now, what would Felix tell you who's 10 years older? What advice would he give you?
I don't know that. I will see in 10 years. Um, Probably not taking everything too seriously.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, it's like we start to thinking of CrossFit. We live in our own world.
Mm-hmm.
So like my girlfriend, she's not into CrossFit, and I'm really glad she's not, because otherwise our whole day would be talking about CrossFit.
Right.
And I think we just thinking of the CrossFit Games, the ultimate goal. This is where, yeah, it fulfills our dreams. But at the end, CrossFit is still a little sport. So I just had the conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. We had a little photo shoot for a company,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about that as well. And I just said, okay, it's cool. So we do the sport. We do the sport for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to. Um, we don't do it for anyone else. We just do it for our own ego. We
Mm-hmm.
want to be good at things like that. We don't have to prove anything to everyone. Your parents will always be proud of you, no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of, yeah, at the end of your career, for sure, Matt Fraser and Rich Froning, they will be known for many decades and for many people. But if I think, for example, of the Olympics 2012 in London, I couldn't name you who won I don't know, the cycling contest or
Sure.
the weightlifting contest.
Right.
It's like people in your sport, they might know your name in
Mm-hmm.
10 years if you
Right.
did great,
Yep.
but nobody else will.
Right.
Especially in CrossFit, I can run through Heidelberg. I'm the best CrossFitter in Heidelberg by far, and nobody knows.
Well, in
It's
Germany
good.
too. Right. Yeah.
So no, so yeah, we think so. If you're in a sport, or especially in competition sports, you always think of, okay, this is the most important thing.
Right.
But if you look from outside, it's not.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, as hard as it sounds, but it's like you do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You want to prove yourself that you will belong to the best in this sport. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah. You just have to think about it sometimes, that it's not. Yeah, I stress out myself, and I think, oh shit, if I don't do well, there will be people looking at you and say, oh, what did he do? He has been good. What has happened? But yeah, these are three people thinking about you. Most of the people don't even know me. So yeah, it's like you live in a small world, and sometimes you have to think about the bigger picture. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Sure.
I don't know if I explained it right.
Oh
But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm getting back into reading Egoist Enemy by Ryan Holiday. I mean, it's exactly that. Is as long as you have the drive and you have enthusiasm and you have a passion, it doesn't even have to be passion, but you love what you do. If you're into it, then check your ego. Like, check, why do you do it? How do you do it? Who do you do it for? But also be okay with, all right, if it all goes to shit, if it all crumbles and crashes, I still know who I am. I still know what matters to me. And it's a humble approach. And it seems like you've embraced that. And I think that's a wonderful.
I try to, at least.
Yeah,
It doesn't work all the time, but
yeah.
yeah,
At least you have awareness around it. So I think
yeah,
that's
you should.
Yeah, that's a wonderful way of I think of wrapping all this up. And Felix, danke, danke, dass du hier mit mir bist. Und yeah, thank you for being here and doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've had a good time. I hope the listeners will have too. And I could just share a few things about me and about the sport as well. And that you shouldn't take everything too seriously, because, yeah, I think you live once, and you should make the best of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be thankful for everything you get to experience.
For sure. Felix is one hungry athlete, a very kind, thoughtful, and genuine human being. I'm very grateful that we got to chat, and hopefully you took a thing or two out of this show as well. I really appreciate his vulnerability and opening up about his eating disorder and the past that he had with that, especially being such a prominent figure in CrossFit, especially in Germany. If you find that this show brought you value, I kindly ask you as a service, as a favor, if you're on Apple, scroll down, hit 5 stars. It takes you 5 seconds. And this means that we can spread the message to more people. If you're on another platform, hit subscribe, like, leave a review. This means the world, as this keeps the podcast afloat and alive and helping more people, which is why we are here, to be of service to the community. Thank you for doing so. And if you haven't done so far, please check out the calisthenics, gymnastics programs, training programs that we have. Also, there's a mixed modalities one at modernathlete.com. So modern spelled with an E at the end, modernathlete.com. And I'll be there coaching you throughout the way. There's a 7-day free trial, all video instructions, very easy to follow through. Not always the most simple to complete, but the thing is, you'll get stronger, you'll get more skilled, you will develop muscle mass, and you'll get shredded too. It's a fun program with a lot of results. I do it. I couldn't find it, hence why I created it. Enjoy the process and the results.